Well, good morning. We're glad to finally be here, and you can see the activity around us. My name is Robert Frank, a principal at WBRC Architects Engineers. It's been my pleasure with my fellow business partner, Matt Ward of WBRC, to be part of this absolutely exciting project. My grandfather, my namesake, Robert Frank Sr., was a firefighter for Newark, New Jersey, back when fires were mostly wood and not other dangerous substances. His last call occurred a year before I was born, but I can tell you since 1964, a lot's changed. And I know Bob Mitchell, our design partner for Mitchell Associates, would like to have been here as well. And although we haven't fully vetted this out, we believe that this new station will be the most technically advanced in the state when completed, as far as it goes for fire safety and safety of the occupants and just the technology that is in the building for a career station. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Chief Brilliant.
Thank you, Rob. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'll keep this really short. Over 40 years that this project has been on the table and off the table again and again and again, and we're finally here today to kick this project off. In a year and a half from now, we'll be moving in. So thank you, and I'd like to introduce retired Chief Clark Labby.
Thank you, Ken. I'm going to be brief, and I have a read off a paper here, but as Ken mentioned, this has been a long time coming. A book could be written about the history of Brunswick trying to build fire stations. History shows that it took 40 years of discussion to build the station now that was built in 1919, and that came only after the insurance underwriters rated Brunswick's fire protection as antiquated. In 1961, Brunswick needed a new tank truck, and a 3,000-gallon tanker was recommended. Unfortunately, it wouldn't fit in the station. That sounds familiar. Chief Judge Gamache at that time suggested that it wasn't far from the time when Brunswick would need one or two substations. By the early 1970s, it was clear that Central Station needed to be replaced, and my father, Chief George Labby, promoted the idea of a new Central Station and a substation in the Cook's Corner area. However, that didn't gain much traction before he retired in 1974. The next year, under Chief Ken Orr, a public safety building committee was formed, and in 1977, after 2 years of study, they recommended a central station basically across the street from this new one and a station at Cook's Corner. That went to public referendum and was soundly defeated. The next 25 years saw numerous studies and reports, most with similar recommendations, a new central station and a substation in the Cook's Corner area. Finally, in 2003, under Chief Gary Howard, the question went to voters again, and again it was defeated. We were desperate at that point for space and in need of a new ladder truck that couldn't be built to fit in the station we had. Council went ahead and built the Cook's Corner station in East Brunswick, and it was my honor to open that in May of 2006. So here we are today, 50 years after it was first suggested, and I hope that this station will last as long as the one that it's replacing. Thank you, and I'll introduce Chief Gary Howard, retired Chief Gary Howard.
Good morning. I appreciate being invited to this groundbreaking ceremony. I lived and worked at the existing Central Station from April 9th, 1970 until November of 2004 for a total of 34 and a half years. No doubt about it, it's time to replace the old fire station. It has served the town of Brunswick well for over 100 years, and hopefully the new station will do the same. The community is fortunate to have the fire department and all the town officials work together to make this day happen. Thank you again for allowing me to share this special day with you.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
I'm very excited that apparently we're going to be one of the newest ones in the whole state of Maine. So yeah, it's good, and hopefully it's going to help with EMS and fire, and there'll be a top-notch response from this department.
Oh, I'm so excited about it. It's a long time coming. I'm a firefighter from a firefighter family. My grandfather served in 1919 in the station that's being replaced. My father was chief, I was chief. We all looked for this station for years. I was on the task force and worked with the committee and Bob Mitchell, and so much has gone into protection of the health and safety of the firefighters. It's amazing the changes that we've seen, and even in the years since the East Brunswick fire station was built. I think it's just going to be a fantastic new station.
No, I think this is wonderful. I'm sure the other people have told you, and you've heard. It's been over 50 years in the making, on and off again, and to finally be here in this last process was almost 5 years in the making, and here we are finally breaking ground. This is it's very, very satisfying at the moment. A lot of happiness. Wow, I never would have imagined when I first got in this business how much technology would take over. I knew it would come, but at the rate that it's coming and the things that we're doing and the reliance on computers and other types of technology, it's amazing. And all that thought process went into this building, and I'm just hoping that that technology that goes into today's building lasts longer than just a few years like most technology. Hopefully it's cutting edge and stays with us and is easily upgradable as we move forward.
Will it be sad to see the trucks roll out of the old central station one last time?
Will it be sad for me? Well, there's a time that you have to move on, and no, I'm glad that they've got the new station, and it certainly is time to move on. The station has served the community well. It doesn't owe the community anything. They've got the money's worth out of that building. So no, it won't be sad. I'm glad to see them moving forward.
So yeah, I'm going to be sad because it's got a lot of nostalgia, and I spent the majority of my career in that building. But this change is going to be very exciting at the same time.
Well, it certainly will be an emotional day when that happens. I hope the station remains. I hope it can be reused for some purpose other than the fire service. But we need a new station. The firefighters need a new station. The town needs a new station, and it's long overdue. So it'll be a happy day.
So did you guys count how many years of service we've got standing in front of us?
That's a good question. Well,
not on one hand, you can't.
I've got 34 and a half.
Yeah, I think I was 37, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So it's what, 71?
Yeah.
That's 71. I've got 28.
And I'm 27. I must be 27.
So
Who added it up?
Who's got a calculator?
I couldn't hear it all. Good grief.
So I got 20. That's 99. You said 27 would be 126, and you had 27. So what? 140. 140. 100 what? 50,
Yeah,
53. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Just a few years sitting here.
And then we've also talked about the generations that came before you guys.
His father hired me. I hired him.
And do you remember what I told you?
Yeah, you want to be chief someday.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I knew you were.
Didn't you? Yeah.
He did. He said, "Where do you see yourself in the future in your career?" And I said, "Sitting behind that desk." And I did sit behind that desk for a few weeks. I replaced it. I couldn't help it.